Push the record button. Thank you, sir. Okay, sorry, I'll be quiet for a while.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll hop right into this. I know we asked for an hour of your time, and we're going to keep it to that. So go ahead and share my screen here and explain what we will be doing today. All right. Everybody can see?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Good deal. Today we're going over what we call the discovery session, where we're just going to essentially today is learning all about Texas State Utilities and your benefits program. Through this process, our goal is to identify what are your strengths, what's going well that you want to keep in place. What are some dangers, some things that could be improved upon in both the short term and the long term, and then we'll explain in the next meeting some of those opportunities available to improve upon those dangers and raise you from the level you're at to becoming a high-performing benefits plan, as we discussed in the initial meeting. Today, we'll be going over discovery, which is step 2 right here. Today, it'll take 60 to 90 minutes. We generally can do it in an hour. Dwayne and I will mostly be asking the majority of the questions here. Step 1 was the starter kit that you both did. That was the benefits survey that you filled out and sent back. And then we'll hop into what that benefit survey looks like. It's always fun to see how everybody's perspective either differs or aligns. And I know, Ross, you did mention the caveat that due to your limited time there, the answers might differ a little bit, right?
Glad we got that in there as cover in case I really mischaracterize anything.
We'll see here in a bit. There was a good spread on some areas. It's always funny to see, especially when we have like 10 stakeholders in the meeting and see everybody's different answers. It's always fun for us.
Right. Sorry about that, Autumn. I only hear about the things that aren't good, right? I don't hear it every single day when things go really well.
Right. Yeah. So after today, we do an internal assessment. You'll see it says 0 minutes because that's how much time is needed on your end. 0 minutes. We record these meetings. We bring in our team of experts, and we essentially have a roundtable discussion to determine what are those dangers, opportunities, and strengths based upon the conversation today. Then we put together your blueprint. We'll come out there in person, if you'll allow it, 2 to 3 weeks from now, and present you our suggestions, our thoughts and opinions on how to raise the bar with your current employee benefits program. At the end of that is the fulfillment of our obligation to you. We treat this as doing a consultation, as if you are essentially sitting and writing us a check for 20 grand for us to do a consulting project for you. Obviously, you're not writing us a check for 20 grand, but we treat it that way. We present you with our thoughts and opinions. Some people do indeed choose to utilize our suite of services to help implement that blueprint. Some people take our blueprint and they give it to their current broker and ask them to do it. There's various reasons, pros and cons to all of it. So our goal is just to, show you some things that have worked really well for our clients nationwide. Okay, everything makes sense? Yes. Yep. So we'll go ahead and just go through some basic questions today. I want to just confirm a few things and also just kind of bring Dwayne up to speed here since he was not on the initial call. After that, we'll hop into administration. We'll talk about the employee life cycle from hire to fire or retire, whatever that case may be. And then we'll hop into the scorecard survey. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share here, and we will pull the screen back up here in a little bit where we look at each other's scorecards. So Dwayne, 500 employees, full-time employees. They have about a third participation, about 150 employees on the plan. And Ross, Autumn, feel free to interrupt, correct me if I'm misspeak here. With United Healthcare, and they have been for the past 3 to 4 years. They have a November 1st renewal date for their benefit plan. They're with Marsh. They recently, I'd say about 5 years ago, they put in place the fully insured plan with United Healthcare. They had a MEC plan before that. They've had a long-standing relationship with Marsh, mostly due to the property and casualty insurance. They've been utilizing them for the commercial insurance for many, many years. Autumn's been with the company about 15 years. Ross is a little bit newer. And I think that is all we need to go over for now. Did I miss anything? No. Okay.
No, not for me.
Okay.
Cool.
So let's talk about the employee life cycle here. So we'll pick on John here for a minute, and we'll pretend that John is a new hire for Texas State Utilities, and he is starting today, Wednesday, July 28th. Let's talk about the process John goes through leading up to today. I'm sure he goes through interviews, he gets the offer letter. How is he going about filling out all of his new hire paperwork, I-9s, W-4s, direct deposit, all that?
And all the paperwork that gets filled out are done in orientation. So once we receive an application, our hiring manager, Summer, will call, get them set up for training and orientation. They'll come in, they'll sit through, roughly about 3 to 4 hours of a class that's got all their training videos. They do their drug test with our safety personnel in compliance. We send that off. They're filling out, part 2 of the application again, which is the I-9, the W-4, direct deposit, all that information. We get the drug test results back in roughly 24 to 48 hours, business days, and then from there they go straight into first day of work starting at 6:30 a.m.
All right. And is there a payroll platform outsource provider that you're utilizing, or are you doing everything in-house right now?
We're doing everything in-house.
Okay. Once all that information is filled out by the new hire, how is that put into your in-house human capital management software that you're using?
I enter everything into our QuickBooks program.
Okay. Okay. So once John is set up and you've entered all his information, when is he actually eligible for the benefit plan there? Is it first of the month?
60 days following the first.
I'm sorry?
60 days following the first.
Okay. All right. And talk about that enrollment process. So he would be eligible October 1st to start on his benefit plan. So obviously enrolling sometime in the month of September. How are you getting notifications of when John's becoming eligible, and then how is he being notified of that?
So we give them the packet with all of our insurance and orientation, plus the enrollment form. I email the enrollment form as well. And then they are told that they have, to get it back as soon as possible, but no more than 30 days after their orientation date. Once I get that back, I then wait until about 15 days before it's supposed to start. And then I send it over to Marsh into their eligibility assist program, and then they enter all the information in.
Hey, Autumn, I missed your last sentence. You send it over to Marsh 15 days, and then what does Marsh do? I'm sorry?
Yeah, so we send it over to eligibility assist, which is the benefits program that we use with Marsh McLennan,
Mhm.
and they enter in the person's information to all of our to United Healthcare and Lincoln Financial.
Okay.
And you were saying you wait 2 to 3 days beforehand. Is that essentially just to make sure that they're going to last through that?
No, I don't. I send it about 15 days before the first when it goes into effect.
Okay. Then I heard somewhere in there something about 2 to 3 days, or am I mistaken?
No, we tell them they've got, when they do their orientation, we give them the packet. We tell them they've got up to 30 days to return it back to us.
Gotcha.
Once I get it, then I hold it, I scan it into our system, put my calendar reminders with all their elections in it, put it into a folder for the month that it's going to be effective, and then set another reminder for 15 days before that effective date month. So October 1, I would set it for September 15th and send it over to Eligibility Assist.
Okay. Now, based upon what the employees elect, if John's enrolling himself or he's enrolling his wife and his kids as well, if he chooses dental vision, any of that, are you going through to see exactly what they elected and then going into your system and manually entering the payroll deductions, or how does that all get fed over?
No, I manually entered it into our payroll deductions. So I look at each one, and when I put my calendar reminders, I put down what they're selecting and how much it is per week.
Okay. All right. And
Hey, Mike,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I understand the eligibility assist from Marsh. So Autumn, you're sending that over to 15 days before the first, before the employee is enrolled. You're sending that to Eligibility Assist. I missed that part. Eligibility Assist is doing what? They're the ones who are sending the enrollment to UHC and then sending it to Lincoln. Is that correct?
Yes, they're enrolling the employee into the UHC system and to Lincoln system.
Got it. Okay. And then they send you some kind of confirmation after the fact that it's been completed?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. And then that's when you go to the payroll system and you enter the payroll deductions.
Yeah.
Okay. But Eligibility Assist is not doing any of so the explanation of the benefits plan, the sending the benefits guide and the summary of benefits to the employees, explaining that you're doing all of that yourself?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Has there, for very, and it's always different between an enrollment system, payroll provider, in-house software, all that, but has there been a discussion about a bridge between the two, from Eligibility Assist to your payroll system, so removes the need for the manual entry?
There has been. Right now, we're not going to work with that, with it being so close to the date of enrollment.
Okay, just curious. Sometimes everybody has a reason. Sometimes it could just be that there's no ability to create a bridge between the two, that they won't talk to each other. And I didn't know if that had been determined or what.
That's kind of what they're saying right now with our program with QuickBooks. There's no way that one will talk to the other.
Yeah.
And we just haven't decided to go with the new system yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So once John is set up, and he's enrolled, are insurance card being mailed to you and then dispersed to John, or is it going directly to his home, going to his spouse? How does he get all that information?
They get mailed directly to his house, the
Okay.
address that he's provided on the form. And then we also in our booklet have a setup where it explains how they can go in and go to log into myuhc.com, register there with their information, set up a password, email and everything. And then they can upload the UHC app on their phone, and they've got their insurance card. It explains their benefit amount, deductibles, where they're at, reaching the deductibles, what was any claims that are passed through is all there on the app.
Excellent. Okay. Now, throughout the year, if John has questions about his insurance, or if he's, let's say he's had a surgery and he's receiving bills from United Healthcare, what's his process for getting those issues resolved?
He can call me, and then I can, if I don't have an answer, I can always reach out to our broker at Marsh, or he can call the 800 number that Marsh has set up direct to them, and their team there will help explain anything that he has questions on.
What do they normally do? They normally reach out to you, Autumn?
Yes.
Okay. Is that by design, or is that your preference?
It's easier for them to reach me because they know me, and they don't ever look at, once we give them their book and they turn in the forms, they don't ever look at it again.
Okay. So they get the book, you help them get enrolled. You're the one who helped them get enrolled. So if they have any questions 3 months or 6 months, it's just very comfortable for them to reach back out to you to ask any of those questions.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. But it's not, you didn't wake up one day going, you know what, if I'm going to design the flow chart, that's how I want to be used.
I didn't design it that way. It just happened that way.
Okay. No worries. Okay.
We've all been doing this long enough that we know HR is ton of hats. You're doing so many things. So yeah, no, we get it.
I've been doing AR so long that HR is a whole new realm for me. So.
Okay.
Yeah. What if it's outside of business hours and employees have questions, or there's urgent needs? Are you saying that they will generally call the 800 number on the United Healthcare card, or is there an alternative they have?
They call my phone.
They call your phone? They call after hours?
Yep. My cell phone is on 24/7. I've told them after 9 o'clock, they're not PM, they should be calling the 800 number.
Okay. So, but from 5 to 9, you're on call.
Yes.
Okay. Again, I'm just going to ask a dumb question. Is that what you want?
Not by design, no.
Not by design. Okay. I'm just curious. It's just, that's how it happens. You want to be a good steward. You want to be a good partner for your folks. And so you made yourself available, your cell phone available. Got it. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. And I'm kind of getting through the end of the employee life cycle here. So let's say John decides that he wants to head for greener pastures, even though I'm sure there's no greener pastures than Texas State Utilities. But for whatever crazy reason, he decides to leave. What is your process for getting him taken out of the system and removed from the benefits plan? There's going to be several questions
so
here.
I will pull his enrollment form, and I will mark down to terminate coverage and the date he was termed, and the date that the coverage will end will be, the last day of the month. And then I set that over into a spreadsheet that I keep for payroll purposes, showing, he's got 2 weeks left, and there's 2 weeks of deductions that we need to take out for his benefits to cover till the end of the month that TSU's already paid for.
Okay. Let's say it's an employee, John's working out of the Oklahoma City office. It's the end of the month. Are you generally notified ASAP when an employee leaves or is terminated, or what's kind of that timeline? Because then you got 500 employees you're dealing with. What's the general amount of time before you know when an employee has left the building.
Within anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours, I'm notified that the employee has been terminated or separated.
Great. Yeah, it's always different, especially when there's a couple different branch offices involved. You hear about it. You hear about it a lot quicker than some other people that we talk to, so that's good. We didn't talk about 401k. Is there a 401k being offered through the company right now?
No.
Okay. Has it been discussed at all, or just something that has been put on the back burner for now?
One was offered years ago. There wasn't enough participation, so they did away with it.
Okay, gotcha. Now we want to jump into advocacy just a little bit. I know this is Dwayne's forte here, talking about advocacy, and then we will go ahead and pull up the benefit surveys, see kind of how the questions differ or align, and dive into those particular areas there. So go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, so it's just kind of related to what we were just talking about, Autumn, but employee, whether it's during hours or between that 5 to 9 o'clock, they get an EOB, they don't understand it, they get a bill, they're trying to decide whether they pay it, and they're coming to you, and then do you typically push them to the 800 number? And is that how it typically works, or are you really trying to help them understand the explanation of benefits?
I've never had them come to me about a bill question that they get.
Interesting.
It's more, hey, I haven't received my card. Can I get another one? I called into UHC. They're saying I don't have coverage. Why not?
Okay, but nobody's calling you up and saying, hey, look, I got this bill in the mail. Should I pay it or not?
No.
You think that's because, so out of 150 people on the plan, typically those kinds of questions are going to come up. So do you feel pretty comfortable that they know, hey, look, if it's that kind of question, call the 800 number?
I would like to say yes, but I don't know.
You're not confident on that? Okay. If an employee just had a difficult diagnosis, they just found out they had cancer, they just found out they needed back surgery, these are difficult times in our lives, and they're trying to find out, when somebody calls up and says, hey, look, I need a medical card, usually they're calling, they need a medical card for some reason. Is that the purpose of this 800 number? Do you guide them to the 800 number to help them kind of understand and use the plan well? I guess I'm a little confused what the 800 number does.
That's if they have any questions regarding their plan coverage, a bill, if they don't know where to go, they're having surgery or whatever. They called one doctor, they're saying they're not covered, and they don't know where to go from there, then the benefit helpline will answer those questions.
Got it. Okay. But we don't know, we're not confident that they're going to those questions. Maybe they're not asking those questions, or maybe, I guess we're going to talk about cost containment here in just a second. But it's hard for me to imagine those questions are not coming up, not out of 150 people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you the answer on that one.
Got it. Okay. Have you ever sat down with Marsh where y'all just sat down and said, hey, look, you know what? From 5 to 9, I'd like my life back. I'd like those calls not to come in. I'd like those calls to come to the 800 number. How can we get more of those? What can we do to encourage more of my folks to start using that 800 number and stop calling me as much?
The only thing we can do is just to kind of keep reiterating with our guys and sending out, mass emails to them to let them know that from this time to this time, if they have questions over any of their benefits, to call the 800 number.
Okay.
But that's really it.
Okay. So y'all tried to do it internally, but y'all never had any kind of strategy like, hey, look, these are the 3 things we're going to do this year to start, trying to move the needle a little bit. How many of your guys have email address, company email?
99% of them.
Okay. Is that an effective, do they read them?
If they see them, yes. Do they read them?
Okay. Got it. Okay.
That's how they get their paycheck. So
we're hoping they're reading it. They get their paycheck stubs through it. Okay. Mike, do you want to,
Yeah.
I'll switch it back over to you.
Yeah, so there's 5 to 6 areas that we generally discuss during these calls. One of them is administration, and that was the purpose of talking about John and his employee life cycle. We've talked quite a bit about advocacy. There's a few other areas that's going to be cost containment. We're going to talk about employee engagement and communication. We're also going to talk about compliance. Based on this, can everybody see this scorecard I have up on the screen? We can? Okay, cool. So Autumn is red, Ross is blue. There are, let's just say this line right here is kind of middle of the road. We definitely would say that your responses are indicative of why you chose to meet with us. That there's some areas where you have some areas of concern and would like a second set of eyes on, and that's what we're here for today. So we definitely want to talk about a lot of these ones that came through on the scorecard. Why don't we just start at the bottom and kind of work our way up? And Dwayne and I, we've done over 100 of these. There's not really a set script we go through. We kind of bounce around a little bit, but we really want to talk about what's most important to you today. So let's start with cost containment here. There's a bit of a spread, and I know Ross, you're a little newer. You maybe went through 1 renewal so far.
We're working through one. So are we talking about the very bottom one here, or just in general?
Yeah, this one. So
yeah.
Were you here last November for the renewal?
No, I was not. And Autumn, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I was thinking of the renewal process that is kind of, sitting in the office here talking with the team versus kind of the including open enrollment in that one score makes me think of open enrollment there.
Let's talk about it. So right now it's July 28th. You have a November 1st renewal. You should probably be expecting that those renewal numbers to come out here in the next 15 to 30 days. When you sat down with your broker in May for your mid-year renewal meeting and they pulled claims and they went over who those high claimants are, what was the trend? What did it look like? What can you be expecting for this upcoming renewal?
We saw a lot of huge increase and decreases on claims, very costly claims.
Okay. So there's some large claims?
Yeah, I'm expecting a pretty high increase in rate.
Okay. Why don't we take a second and dive into that? Again, I don't want any names, of course. But can you give us kind of an indication of like, what are we talking about here? There's a term called a medical loss ratio. That's the amount of claims versus the amount of premium you pay in every month. What is, did y'all talk about that, or do you know what that number is?
Yeah, let me grab mine.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to add a little more color. I think it's going to be around 100%, or Autumn may have the number, and it may be well north of that. I
More
think
than 100%.
Yeah, and obviously that's kind of year-to-date numbers, and there were some trailing 3-year stuff mixed in. So I think we'll let Autumn quote the number there. And for a little background, I think what we saw, especially this past year, was really out of 500 employees. Obviously, not that many are enrolled. It was 3 or 4 just really large claims, and I don't think we've had that as much historically. But that was really the driver of the loss ratio there. And I'm sure everyone has large claims, but to have 3 or 4 in 1 year, I think really impacted that ratio a lot this year.
Do you have,
Yeah,
again, I'm sorry, Autumn, go ahead.
our target loss ratio was at 69%, and our premium loss was at 78%.
Okay, so the expected is roughly about 9%. Delta of about 9%. What and if there were about 3 or 4 large claims, do y'all know again, no names at all, just do you know what those 3 or 4 types of claims they are?
Yes.
What are we looking at?
We had a death, and then COVID. We had cancer.
Okay.
And then, sorry, I'm looking through my book and trying to remember.
Yeah.
It was let's see, there was the cerebral infarction due to thrombosis, malignant neoplasm of kidney, COVID, heart disease, dependence with alcohol dependence and abuse with COPD, osteoarthritis and meniscus tear, Crohn's and sepsis.
So you've got some pharmacy cost in there too. Yeah. Okay. So you said you had a COVID. Did that COVID resulted in a death? Is that correct?
One did, yes.
Okay. Yep. There's some things going on. What did they predict that the renewal is going to look like?
Another 30+% increase.
You said another 30% increase. Did y'all have a 30% last year?
Yes.
So what we have adverse selection going on right now with low participation. So who signs up for insurance? People that can afford it and people that need it, right? And so there's a participation gap, as you're well aware. That's causing this upside down claims to premiums ratio.
I did want to ask one more question about so you've got some large pharmacy cost. I want to talk about that separately, but let's talk about the cancer. Do y'all know what the situation is with the cancer, what type of cancer and what stage the cancer is in?
I don't know the stage of it. Or what kind it is, honestly.
Okay.
I just know what it's,
Okay.
that it's there.
Okay, got it. Okay. And y'all have got some pharmacy costs going on. Mike was just talking about, you've got a low participation rate. And I think Mike had told me, but I just kind of wanted to discuss a little bit further. Why do we have about 30% of the folks participating in the medical plan?
Due to cost.
Cost, okay. So what is the cost? What do y'all pick up? What is the employer portion of the medical plan?
We pay 51% of the employee portion.
Okay.
So you had 2 plans, right? A base and a buy.
Yes. So on the base plan, it's a 51% employee pay, that the employer pay. And then the base plan is like, I think it's 50% there, 51% on that one as well.
Okay, so it's 50, you're paying about half the cost for both of the two plans.
Roughly, yes.
Okay. Y'all pick up any of the dependent cost?
No.
Okay. Oh, by the way, what are the base plan and the buyout plan? Are they both PPOs or HSA, HMOs?
The base is an HMO, and the base is the buy-up is the PPO.
The PPO. And then do you know off the top of your head the deductible on those two plans?
If you don't,
Oh.
we like to
We
ask.
don't know.
I have my folder
Well,
here somewhere.
5.
We'll ask for a copy of like your employee benefits handbook that you pass out after this, that we can do some internal benchmarking on our assessments. We have to go through all the numbers, but
So on the they're both PPOs. They're both PPO plans.
Oh, they're both
So
PPO? Okay.
yeah, so the base is an HSA PPO, in the buy-up is an EPO PPO.
Got it. Okay.
And
So the
then,
HSA, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so it looks like it's 12.5 and 6.5. Or
6,000.
sorry, 6.
so the HSA is $6,500 deductible.
Yeah.
And then we have 1,250 on the PPO, the buyout plan.
12,500, yes.
Oh, 12,000. Hold on, are we talking deductible or are we talking about out of pocket?
I think one is for
Deductible.
family, includes.
That's family.
So the,
I don't want to.
the individual is $6,350
Okay.
for Texas and $2,500 for Oklahoma.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Because we only have limited time with you. Like Mike said, is it okay if we get a copy of that when we're emailed to us after the meeting?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Because I don't want to kind of spend. So I have a couple of questions about participation. What have y'all ever tried to increase the participation, or even do y'all want to?
We would love to increase it. And that's why we went up to 51% employer pay.
Okay. So you
Before
locked
that,
in.
it was.
I'm sorry.
Before that, it was a 30% employer pay.
Interesting. Okay. And so y'all tried to get the participation up by spending some more money on it. Did it work?
A little bit, not by much.
Okay. Did Mike say earlier that y'all were on a MEC plan, a minimum essential coverage plan, before y'all moved to the UHC plan? Is that correct?
That was the very first plan we ever had when it was required that we offered the insurance.
I'm with you. ACA comes out, you have a MEC plan to provide health insurance, and then y'all move to a fully insured plan. Got it. That makes sense. Is there a reason why we don't want to offer both a MEC plan and a full health insurance plan side by side?
No, I have no idea why they don't.
Well, the only reason I ask is that there's lots of ways to get participation up. One way to get participation up is offering a less expensive minimum essential coverage plan that provides like a PPO and 24-hour free telemedicine and pharmacy card. And it's just a way to increase the participation. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, have you ever considered offering both as a way to get participation up higher?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is there any reason like, hey, Dwayne, I think you're getting too crazy for us?
No, I mean, I don't think the owners have ever considered it.
What have y'all did y'all ever sit down with your broker and just say, hey, look, we need ideas to increase our participation?
Yes.
What did they say? What did y'all do? And
Increase the employer pay.
is that what the suggestion was?
That was their suggestion.
Have y'all ever considered doing personal enrollers where you have, instead of Autumn, I'm sure you're fantastic at it and perhaps you even enjoy it, but having a personal enroller have a quick conversation with your folks to answer any questions that they have, explain the plan, and the side effect of that is that once employees are more comfortable and they have their questions answered, we found that that increases participation. Have y'all ever thought about that or tried that?
Yes. And we have, from the very get-go, we've had the brokers would go out to every site or every location that we have, and we would do meetings with everybody there, and they would go through it page by page, line by line, and then answer questions.
That's in the, you're talking in a group setting, or it would be individually?
Group setting, and then they also were telling everybody that they would hand out their business cards, and then they could take individual questions by phone.
No, that's pretty traditional. My question is that instead of having a group meeting at all, so I'm not saying to do this, I'm spitballing idea. Instead of having a group meeting at all, you get rid of the group meeting and you just have an individual meeting with each person, have a personal enroller, spend 15 or 20 minutes or 30 minutes going over the things that they want to hear, answering their personal questions and enrolling them right there on site, right there online. And it can be done on the phone. It doesn't even have to be done in person. Have y'all ever tried that?
No, because it's not cost effective for us to shut down our guys that long for each individual person.
Okay. So it's not cost effective to have the team kind of be able to, what if we did it after hours, like after 5?
I mean, they would have to, once after 5 o'clock, our guys are gone. They leave straight from the job sites and go home.
Okay, so maybe that won't work, but I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that, so y'all take the whole team off, you'll take them, put them in a meeting, and y'all have a group meeting that really hasn't helped participation. Y'all haven't tried the individual meetings, but we've got this big drawback, that is, how do we do it without taking the people off the job sites, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just spitballing ideas on what about you guys have, they're telling you you're looking at another 30% increase. What have y'all discussed about ways to kind of stave off or kind of thwart these increases?
I think we're supposed to discuss that our next meeting.
So your renewal meeting. Have you ever had a strategy conversation where you've just kind of talked about, hey, look, you know what, we're going to do a renewal, we're going to get quotes, coming up in, 60 to 75 days from the renewal. But do y'all have any kind of long-term strategy to kind of mitigate some of the claims that are going on here?
No, not that I remember discussing with them.
And then, it looks like based on some of the conditions that you were listing off, those are going to be, I would assume they're going to have some drug costs to them. That's probably what's driving up some of those large claimants is drugs.
Right.
Have y'all ever had a conversation about ways to reduce the drug cost, to get drugs in a less expensive? We want the folks to get the drugs that they need, but have y'all had a conversation about ways to kind of reduce some of those drug costs?
No.
I'm just curious with some of the high claimants right now, what sort of, we all know, one of my favorite sayings with insurance is that the claims are the claims, but the cost is not always the cost. That number that we see on the spreadsheet is often a bit inflated when it's not hyper managed. So just curious, for some of these high claimants, what is, who's kind of holding their hand and guiding them through the process with their care, finding the right physicians, right facilities, just kind of navigating them through this process right now?
There's no one there, but we've discussed it with Marsh about that.
Okay. We're going to run out of time, Mike, and I'm sorry. So I don't know if you want to move on to.
We hit a lot of the employee engagement, communication, cost containment. You want to kind of wrap it up with compliance and then some of our level questions, or is there anything else that we miss on our end?
Well, I mean, there are a number of kind of ones on here, Autumn. The value perception of the employees appreciating the plan. I'm assuming that perhaps, and I could be wrong, and tell me if I am. I'm assuming part of that lack of appreciation of the plan that the company provides is you probably feel that way because of the low participation. We've talked about ways to get participation up. What about just communication? What have y'all tried on communication to engage the employees about how to use the plan better? I think you mentioned email earlier. Have y'all tried any other strategies?
They've got Brain Chart that they can use, which is an app, again, on their phone.
Love it.
That kind of more explanations of the plans and benefits and everything.
Okay. Any communications, like, has there been any conversation about, hey, look, we've got these 3 types of claims, or we've got these kinds of pharmacy, let's do an email or send out a communication or a text message or a Brain Chart video, and then to send out that's identifying some of those, why we're having some of those claims, and more cost-effective, efficient ways to get some of those procedures done at a lower cost. Is any of the communication guided or directed by the types of claims that are happening?
No.
So, okay. Okay. I'm just kind of looking through here, and y'all haven't gone through, have y'all ever done a benchmarking where y'all have actually gone through and said, hey, look, how does our plan compare to other plans in your industry there in Fort Worth? How do our claims stack up? How do our claims compare to other companies with similar numbers of employees? No benchmarking like that has been done?
No. I know they try to stay comparable in rate and what they're offering, but as far as claims, no, I don't know that.
Do y'all have very much turnover?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all have some, do you mind, what is the approximate percentage of turnover y'all have every year?
Oh.
I mean, best guess, are we talking 5% or 20%?
Yeah. I think it's hard to put a percentage, but oh, go ahead, Autumn. You know better than I do, certainly. But it's a lot of people working in the field, and those roles turn over pretty quickly. Some people will stay a long time, but we have a lot of turnover even in the first month, I'd say.
Okay, so you have the turnover in the first month. So a lot of times this turnover is taking place before they even get on the benefits plan.
Yeah, and Autumn, correct me if I'm wrong there, but that's kind of my understanding.
No, that's correct. It's right at the time they're going into enrollment. Maybe they're on it a week or two, and then they're separating.
And I've got one more question, Mike. At the very bottom of the question number 10, Autumn, you said the renewal process on a scale of 1 to 10. You rated it as a 1. It's going to causes anxiety and confusion and frustration. We talked about that a little bit more, but I want to make sure that Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like the renewal process is just chaotic?
Because when we go into renewal, it's, we're going to do what we can. Obviously we want our employees to have the insurance and the coverage. We want them to participate. We want them to understand it. But then when we sit with the broker, it's kind of here's what we need to do, and this is what it's going to cost you. And it's all about the money we need to spend out to buy different technology, different programs, everything else to make it easier for them instead of what is best for our guys. Interesting.
Okay. So it's about spending money. You're not spending enough money when you feel like you're investing a lot of money, and how do we get more ROI on what we're already spending? And it's a lot about what we're not doing rather than what we have to work with. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, I'll be quiet.
Yeah, right. Let's just talk about compliance really quick. I think we have a 5 and a 7 on compliance here. Just curious, there's a lot of changes with employee benefits, right? I started in the industry before ACA, then went through the ACA, and then the somewhat unbundling of it, and now some things going back in place. So how are you keeping up to date on everything that's required on your end from an HR perspective? All the legislative updates and forms that you're required to have and distribute to your employees. How are you keeping track of all that?
I've never had to really do this section of it before, so MMA will send us the paperwork and then we distribute it via email.
Sure. Okay. Have you ever
changing? I can't send them out, daily or weekly.
Yeah.
So have you sat down with MMA to do just like a once a year compliance checklist, so you're aware of what you need to have on site in the event of like a Department of Labor audit or anything?
No.
Okay.
It's kind of whatever you need to do, they kind of tell you when you need to do it, and kind of happening real time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to talk about just a couple things real quick. 1094s and 1095s. Is that being done in-house by you, Autumn, or is there a third party that you use?
No, that's a third party.
Okay. Does that third party do anything else for you, like your COBRA administration or your HSA?
Yes.
All of the above?
Yes.
Who is that? Who's the TPA on that? I'm just curious.
Sterling.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, super familiar. So I'm sure you're doing 5,500 filings for your multiple lines that you have, and that was due at the end of May. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. And what's your process for getting all that taken care of?
I run the reports that they ask for the census, and then we send it over to Sterling. They run through everything, then they will send it back to me to review. As long as everything looks good, then we, and I agree to everything. The owners agree to everything. They email everything off and they mail it out to the employees.
Okay. Great.
Beautiful.
We're approaching the end of time that we requested from you here. I think we hit on a lot of the areas that we definitely wanted to talk about. Was there anything in particular that you were expecting to get out of this conversation or for us to bring up that we didn't hit on during this hour?
No. I don't think so. I mean, because
Yeah, I didn't have anything either. I think from even just a quick look at the benchmarking scores here, it's easy to tell that our company's grown a lot in the past couple of years, and we're doing our best to kind of keep up with this portion of the business. And it's just a our market makes employee benefits and health insurance difficult to begin with. So Autumn is working to catch us up on that front, but we are in the process of getting there.
Hey, Autumn,
yeah,
how big is your department? Is it a department of one?
it's me.
Okay. That's what it sounded like. But you're doing a lot.
Autumn is the HR department, and also pretty new to it, right, Autumn? I think you obviously had some experience in the past, but this will be a new role for her as full-time HR.
Then you're doing fantastic. Sounds like you're a rock star.
I get a lot of help from KJ and Ross and some other people here.
Oh, you're just being humble.
Oh no. Yeah.
Well, I have one last question, Mike.
Yeah, Dwayne, what was your question?
Oh, I was just going to ask, when we get back, we'd like to get together on the blueprint. Was there anything, so based on this conversation, was there anything that you wanted us to focus on when we get back together on the blueprint and kind of show you some of these solutions? Is there anything, one thing or two things that really kind of stuck in your head, like going, yeah, Dwayne, yeah, my guy, John, that's what I want to see. I need to understand that more. I want to learn more. I want to solve that. Anything that kind of sticks out in your mind?
I would say employee participation in overall understanding of the benefits and conveying that, how to get that conveyed across to the employees.
The value perception. How do we improve that? Their appreciation of the plan and all this money y'all are spending. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. What about Ross? Anything that you're hoping to hear when we get together in next week or so?
No, I think I think we covered it today, and I'm excited to soak in a little more and just understand the process a little bit better. So
cool.
Quick question: I think you said you had a renewal meeting coming up with your current broker. When was that? Is that next week? The following week?
Let me look.
You call that and still for you, right?
And after this call, I'll send the email just a few items that we would like to look at, and just a reminder, like this isn't to go out and get quotes. It's to do some of that benchmarking and some data analytics, so we can present some ideas at the next blueprint meeting.
okay, sounds good.
I think our next meeting is going to be within the first week or two of September, end of August, beginning of September.
Oh, okay. So it's in September, not in August. Okay.
All right. Well, we generally like to present this blueprint 2 to 3 weeks after this meeting. So are either of you going to be on vacation the week of the 9th or the 16th? I'll look at our calendars and send you out some potential times for us to get together. Just want to know ahead of time if y'all are planning on being out at all.
I will be out August 9th through the 13th, and then the 27th through the 29th.
Okay.
So the week of the 9th won't work.
All right. Ross, you're good?
Yeah, I could do the week of the 9th, but it sounds like that won't work. You know,
So potentially.
I'm in the office the week before and after, so whatever works better for Autumn.
And Autumn, you're the week before you're in the office, the 2nd?
Yes. Which would be next week.
Oh my goodness, is next week August?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Okay, that was just kind of freaked me out for a split second.
For this
Okay.
summer. Oh,
We could maybe do a quick turnaround and present this to you at the end of next week, or if not, we would need to look at the week of the 16th.
The
Okay.
6th, I'm sorry?
Either works for me. What do you think, Autumn?
Yeah, either one.
Hey, Mike, the 6th works for me if you want to.
Friday the 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all want to do 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday? That work?
That'll work for me.
10 o'clock on the 6th?
sweet. I'll go ahead and get those invites out then.
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Very nice to meet you, Ross and Autumn.
Well, it's
Yeah,
nice to
me
meet
too.
you too.
Thanks a lot for y'all's time.
Yeah, looking forward to showing this next week.
All right, see y'all then.
Sounds good. Thanks again,
All right,
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you guys.
Everybody.
Bye.
Dwayne, John, you want to hold on for a second?
Yeah. Let's give Autumn a second to do.
Thanks, still on the right phone.
I don't know what it says it's connecting to.
I'll call you on Teams